This ain't for the weak. This ain't for the weak. Thank you, God, for this life. Most people will never experience real power. What's up, my trollers and haters? You want to know why? Because they don't even know what it looks like. Because they're asleep when it is being built. That's right. If you're here with me at 4 a.m., you're already ahead. Welcome to Epoch 1, day 69. But as we already know, showing up isn't enough. We are in war mode. This is war mode. Today we're going to talk about the price of hesitation. And the price of hesitation is self-erasure. So let's be clear off the rip. Hesitation is not harmless. It's not just a pause, a moment to think, a slight delay. Nah. Every second you hesitate, you are erasing yourself in real time. Opportunities gone. Momentum gone. Your ability to move with certainty gone. You don't see it, but your own hesitation is deleting you second by second. By the time you decide, assuming you even decide, the window has already shut. The world has already moved on without you. But I got you. We're breaking that cycle today. Let's lock in. Let's talk about it. And I'm going to go straight into story time today. And I want to give you a personal story and perspective. And this one hits for me. It's very emotional because it's real. So let me take you back to a moment when hesitation almost cost me everything, but also it gave me everything. I had an opportunity, like a real life changer opportunity, a move that would shift my whole trajectory. But instead of moving instantly, I hesitated. Otherwise, it wouldn't be worth telling. I hesitated because I thought I couldn't afford it. I hesitated because I was attached to my comfort. And that hesitation, it nearly cost me massive growth. Like I probably wouldn't be here type growth. The decision that changed everything. Here's what it was. It was right before COVID hit. I left my job that I had been at for 10 years. And in that 10 years, there were 3 promotions and a reputation most people would never walk away from. This company, it was massive, right? It was a brand, a jersey, a badge of honor in my industry. Very recognizable, really dope. Most people never left. We talked yesterday. I can go back 20 years. They're still there. But I did. I took a lateral move when I did bounce. Same title, same salary. But I bet on the long game. I was playing for the next level. And after 2 years, after having left and sort of even downgraded, the door opened. I got a chance to run a department with 500 people reporting to me. A title that I was chasing since I could think about my career, that would rewrite my resume forever. A role that almost never went to someone without a degree. That's me. The only catch, this business already had a candidate, so it was a long shot. But they did give me a shot to prove myself. 5 days on-site evaluation, assess the department, interview leadership, identify gaps, and present a strategy. That was fun. And of course, it wouldn't be me if I didn't execute flawlessly. They were sold. It was in the bag. When the offer came, it was mine. But I hesitated. I hesitated again because the compensation wasn't what I wanted. So I pushed back, like, yo, it's not what I want. They said no. I said no. And just like that, gone. I spent weeks in regret, weeks drinking myself to sleep, depressed, angry, stuck, thinking about what it could have been. Yo, I've been working my whole career to get to this level. I wanted it bad. And I let hesitation take it from me. Of course, until I made one final move. And this is the moment I took control back. In total desperation, straight up, 2 months later, I reached back out. I sent the most humbling email of my career. I could still see it and feel it. I told them I regretted my decision. I told them I believe we could do great things together. And I left the door open just in case. I hit send. Instant regret. Like, yo, Jeff, what are you doing? You sound like a straight fool. I tried to delete the email. Too late. It was gone, out into the ether. And wouldn't you know, my phone buzzed almost immediately, and I got a message and a reply. What number can I call you at? It was the chief operating officer. Turns out they had regret too. They hired someone else, and he wasn't who he said he was. They needed someone who could execute, and they couldn't wait to have me. So here's the payoff moment. 9 months later, I turned the entire department around. That's what I do. I'm a change agent. My name was solidified in the industry. I got offered a role at another billion-dollar company. I went from big to small to smaller, and now big dogs are calling me again. My salary doubled. But here's the real lesson. Hesitation almost erased me. I almost lost my shot. I almost let my own fears decide for me. I almost proved to myself that I wasn't built for this. And so in that way, I will never hesitate again. And neither should you. Hesitation is self-erasure. If you don't move, you delete yourself. Hear what I'm saying? My beautiful people, let's check the chat. Where you at, chat? The world is still on its way. I know it's hard at 4 a.m. I want to give that story a time to sink. And I want to emotionally, because as I tell it, as I was writing it, as I thought about it, as I structured the episode for today, I really went back into that moment of time. And I can't stress to you enough the significance. And I will also empathize with you in this way. If you're feeling like you missed out, I believe sincerely because of who I am, that wasn't going to be my last opportunity. I believe sincerely because of who I am, it was always going to work out. I also believe sincerely because of who I am, it worked out exactly how it was supposed to work out. But let me offer you that for those about 2 months between when I turned it down and hesitated and when it ultimately came to fruition, massive pain. When I tell you that I lost sleep, like I was edging my bed, I sleep cut on my side and I stare out towards what would be the wall, just staring at the wall. Just staring at the wall, thinking about, oh my God. And it was the title. I needed that title, the significance of the title as someone without a degree trying to make my way towards higher levels of leadership was just not plausible. It didn't happen. It doesn't really happen. It is a big deterrent. Now, I believe once I get in front of people, I don't want to say I can sell myself, but I know the game. I've been in it for 20 plus years. I can talk it. But here's the reality. My resume comes through. They scan it. They see I don't meet certain criteria that they're looking for. I don't even get a chance to talk to nobody. So this was big. This was really big. I feel blessed. You know, COVID was difficult. It hit us all in different ways. One of the things that I realized that businesses open themselves up to, the job I wound up taking required people to come on site. A lot of people didn't want to come on site. I was willing. Because of that, my resume made it through when it likely wouldn't. You see how that works too? This is why we got to always be prepared. I didn't understand that the years of work that I had been putting in, my resume up until that point, my life resume, my business resume, my ability to just be available. I keep talking about, I just work. And maybe a lot of it is insecurity. Think about it. If you know where you lack, I know immediately I hand in my resume, I don't have a degree, it turns people off. The only way to compensate for that is to work and work and work. I work on my speech. I work on my language. I work on my ability to interview. I work on my ability to work a room. I work on my leadership skills. I work on my ability to understand I am a change agent so that if you give me the opportunity, I will do what other people cannot do. I believe that deeply. But if you're out there and you feel like you might have missed an opportunity, yes, if it's gone, there's a lesson. And the immediate lesson is be careful what opportunities you let go. But I don't believe you're not going to get another one. God wouldn't do that to you. God might put you through some struggle. You might have let one go that you really should have took. But I offer you solace also in the possibility that for those 2 months, it must have been 2 weeks, 3 weeks before I was able to sleep. Real. And I don't use the word depressed a lot. I don't know if it's another insecurity of mine. I don't know that I align with depression. In that I just don't, I'm just always a hyper positive person or from a, what's the word? I'm optimistic versus pessimistic. I can always find, to me, the way I work, the way I roll, the way I think, I can always look towards the positives, which is why I was able to send that email 60 days later. I was able to process all the emotions and come to the reality that, I did miss out. So really, when I reflect back to the email I sent, I remember I was walking in the mall and I had gotten an email that triggered me to go into my inbox. I couldn't find it. And when I searched for it, because I saw the notification, when I searched for it, emails from the other place I had been in from the time I was there for a week has shown up. And I thought to myself, man, like I said, I missed out. So sometimes your willingness to open up, hey, I missed out. I want you to know I missed out. But I am available if the opportunity ever presents itself again. Pride might get in the way of that. Ego might get in the way of that. The feeling of what it feels like. I rejected it and felt rejected. And in that way, to reach out again and get another rejection would have been massively painful. But had I not done it, I don't think I'd be where I'm at. Or at least it would have taken longer. The opportunity I have now, I'm probably in the best place I could be at professionally. I'm in the best space I can be professionally. I got the perfect mentor. I got the perfect growth path. I got the perfect opportunity. It's big enough. We're making changes. We're innovating. We're very strategic. We're very tactical. The team's big enough. I have everything I could do. I could possibly ask for professionally that could help continue to catapult me forward in my career, presuming I stay in this line of business. Wouldn't have had it without it. Wouldn't have had it if I didn't go through that depression, the struggle, and drink myself to death. I probably drank enough in that time to, I assure you, I probably drank enough, period, through those years I was drinking. That's why I never need to drink again. I could just summon it. It happens. It's life, decisions. Take something from it. If you're in a situation now where you're contemplating, I don't know, the compensation may not be right, dollars and cents wise, but if I just accept that another lateral, it could change the way I'm viewed on paper. And sometimes that's required. That's just the reality of how life works. It's a system. We can't be naive and ignorant to how the system works. I understood that. That's why it was so big to me. The system works this way. If I deny this and I deny myself this opportunity, I lose my ability to manipulate the system. I've always been, how do I make the system work for me? How do I make the system work for me? I'm not stubborn in that way. I have core values and principles. We have laws and rules on the Do You rules. God, faith, honor, loyalty. I've always had that. I've always had a framework for how my system works. But part of how my system works is I come in, I assess and analyze. I understand what's around me. I understand the culture, the environment. I don't try to think that I can just change an environment of, imagine going into a company of 25,000, 30 people. You can't just change that because you think I should change it. It doesn't work that way. You're going into it's an organism. It's already functioning, living, breathing, feeding. Watch how it moves. Watch how it works. We talked about predictability. This is why watching, paying attention, and feeling good about yourself and resolved in your own system. When my system's working good and I don't got to worry about me, I can look at what's impacting me around me. So in that way, the organisms that surround my organism, I can manipulate it to my advantage. Why? It's predictable. I don't need to come out of pocket or put myself at risk unnecessarily. I could take calculated risks. I can use the environment to help me grow. I can use the environment to help me avoid pitfalls. You get what I'm saying? If you're in a situation where you want to hesitate, don't. Take a risk. Take a risk. Give yourself permission to take a risk. Nothing comes without risk. Cliche, right? No risk, no reward. The higher the risk, the higher the reward. The lower the risk, the lower the return. It's like investing in the market. The S&P 500, you'll get about 8 to 10%, sometimes 12%. It's a lower risk. You go into some different plays. You go into crypto. You go into day trading. You go into taking other risks with startups. Well, then it could explode. Might get to a short play. You might not. Pick where you're at. What's your tolerance level? Your system tolerance level for risk. Where is it? If you're risk averse, it's going to stunt how you're able to grow. You wind up somehow just kind of floating, or you take very little steps. If you're high risk and you could tolerate it because it's stressful, you take a lot of little steps, but it's like you're punching, and then boom, you get a massive growth. I'm telling you from experience. And the lower you are, the higher the potential for growth. The higher you are, the shorter the growth path, or at least the shorter the explosion, because the higher you get, there's just but so many more levels you can go. But in that same way, more explosions waiting for you. Might take a little more time. Don't let hesitation ruin an opportunity for you. That's really the point of today, right? Hesitation is self-erasure. You delete yourself by the second. Give yourself the opportunity. Give yourself permission. Look for risk. Look for opportunity. Expand your system. Hesitation, it won't get you nowhere. Let's get into a God story. That's my personal story. I hope it helped. I hope it helped. Now, in the book, there's a biblical story that's essentially titled about Lot and how his wife turned to salt. Think about it like this. Hesitation isn't just dangerous, it's also biblical because they wrote it in the book. Lot's wife. When God sent angels to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot's family was given one command: leave now. Don't look back. But Lot's wife, she hesitated. She looked back. And in that moment, she was turned into a pillar of salt. Think about that. She wasn't punished for staying. She was punished for hesitating. God moves forward. He doesn't wait. When you hesitate on your path, you risk turning into salt, stuck, frozen, erased from the moment. Easy lesson. When God says move, you move. God, faith, honor, loyalty. Let's go into a strategy analogy that also helps paint this picture. Immerse yourself. And this is a good one, especially if you're like me and you're from the city, right? New York City. We call this the revolving door trap. Imagine you're approaching a revolving door at a busy building, and it's just, that thing is moving. Try going to like 42nd Street. Them doors, they go so fast, I'm surprised they don't pop off the hinges. So you're approaching the door, you see your opening, a clear path to step in and move forward. But instead of stepping in immediately, you hesitate. Maybe I should wait. Maybe I should let someone else go first. Maybe I should take a second to think. And in that moment, the door keeps spinning and spinning and spinning. Now your window is gone. Now you're standing still while others move effortlessly. And others will move if you're in the way or not. And so now if you want to get in, you have to wait for another opening. I just told you my story. And that's even if it comes. It might not. Hesitation traps you outside the opportunity. And sometimes even worse. Because sometimes the doors lock. You had your chance. You didn't move. Now you're stuck on the outside looking in. Easy lesson. When the door is open, step in. Otherwise, hesitation will leave you locked out. Think about what we're talking about here. Think about the strategy analogy. Think about God and the story he presents us in the book. Think about what I shared with you. Critical to the conversation, and we'll get into sort of three sections here. We'll talk about hesitation being a system failure. Then we'll go into the consequences of hesitation. And then I'll give you some opportunities about how to eliminate hesitation forever. All right? It's Monday morning. I know it's early. It's a lot. You're getting ready for the grind. You're getting ready for that job that kept you wishing it was the weekend, right? But I got you. On the Do You rules, we look to expand our systems. We look to expand the contributions we make to our lives for ourselves. Why not? Why not? So let's think of this like section one. Before we do, we'll check the chat. Who's in the chat at 4:23 a.m.? Still sleeping? Are you still sleeping? You probably are. I'm already hyped. I'm already almost 90 minutes into my day. What does that mean? Nothing for you. All it means for me is that I'm 90 minutes in my day. 83 to be exact. 83 and some seconds. So this is section one. Hesitation is a system failure. Most people, most of us, I'm included, hesitate because they think they're being careful. Wrong. Hesitation is your system failing. It is a glitch in your operating system. And we know the OS is faith. Let's go back to AI. Think about AI because it executes instantly. No hesitation, no second guessing, just action. Meanwhile, humans, that consciousness thing, they hesitate, they doubt, they overanalyze. And in that gap, opportunity is lost. Every hesitation is a virus corrupting your execution. And if you don't patch the system, it'll crash. If you don't move, you delete yourself. The world must keep going with or without you. Let's get into the second part of this, which are the consequences of hesitation. Real consequences. Let's talk about real consequences. What actually happens when you hesitate? I'm going to outline 4 possibilities in real language for you. Straight up, everyday people. Missed opportunities. The call you didn't make. The move you delayed. The shot you didn't take. You know that saying, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. All of that is gone. And here's the really real. You don't even realize it. Because you never see the door you're too slow to walk through. Here's the second thing. We're talking about the consequences of hesitation. A weakened identity. When you hesitate, you prove to yourself that you are not decisive. Your confidence takes a hit, and now next time, it's even harder to move. The more you don't move, the less confidence you have. Here's the third thing. Loss of momentum. Especially in today's world, speed wins. The faster you execute, the more you build. Every hesitation is a hard stop. And the worst part, rebuilding that momentum, it takes 10 times the energy. Think about it. Here's the fourth thing. You give the world permission to move without you. The world doesn't wait for indecisive people. It moves on. It hands the opportunity to the ones who move first. Every time you hesitate, you are voting yourself out of the game. Think about it. It's all very logical and reasonable until it isn't. Until you mix emotion in the middle and somehow it's not your fault. What do we do with this? I'm going to give you some possibilities on how we can eliminate hesitation. Because now that we've exposed hesitation for what it is, self-erasure, how do we fix it? I got 3 things here. The first thing is adopt the AI mindset. Command and execute. AI doesn't hesitate. You give it a command, it moves. Be the same way. Train yourself to move first, adjust later. Move first, adjust later. If you know something needs to be done, the decision's already made. You know to do it. Move. The second thing we can do, set pre-decisions for your life. Pre-decide your standards. If it aligns with your values, the answer is already yes. God, faith, honor, loyalty. If you wait until the moment to decide, you've already lost. The most disciplined people in the world don't make decisions in the moment. They made them years ago. Move with God, faith, honor, loyalty, whatever your principles are. Move. The third thing, break the speed trap. The addiction to comfort, overthinking, and delayed action is a trap. It is an addiction. You don't need more time to decide. You need to move now. And the best way to eliminate hesitation is to do the hard thing immediately. Every moment you wait, you fade. It is self-erasure and deletion. Choose to move. Choose to move. All right. Let's get a final takeaway and let's challenge ourselves. Because if you only take one thing from today, it is this. Hesitation is self-erasure. If you don't move, you delete yourself. So what is the challenge for today? Identify one. Don't be overzealous. Just one area Where hesitation has been holding you back physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, relationally. Pick one. Attack it immediately. And think of this: move or get deleted. War mode stays active. My beautiful people. Move first or get locked out. Hesitation is self-erasure. Move now. You either run the system or the system runs you. Change your mind, change your life. I am who I say I am. Do you and stay rich.